How much longer do you give yourself doing this thing, going around being a sort of
I don't know. I never thought I'd be doing it for 2 years even, you know. When we started off, I never thought we'd make it very big anyway. I think we sort of pretty well set up for at least another year.
I think you've got to accept, John, and Yoko, that, particularly you, John, that it's alienated you from the people who originally loved you in this country.
A lot of them, yes.
Yes, I think they don't understand you anymore.
But all I did was fall in love, like a lot of people do who are already married, who married somebody very young, you know.
You're taking a risk with the fans, the reputation that you've built up throughout the world, and the love that you feel wherever you go. What they don't want to see is you go and be badly beaten again ever.
Badly beaten?
Well, that's what it's about.
You got one fan on them.
No.
Was it your cocaine is God's way of telling you you're earning
making too much money, yeah.
That was yours.
And it was my accountant's wet dream. All right, Mr. Williams, I can't write off $50,000 for snacks.
Is it a male or female email, this?
Why don't you have a look for yourself?
Well, I wouldn't know what to look for.
Hello, Michael.
Oh, hello.
How are you?
Oh, I'm well.
Hi, Frog.
Good evening, Miss Piggy.
Do you feel that David is perhaps has a better public persona, image than you have?
I think he does have now. I don't think that he did a few years ago. And I think that sometimes when you can get down and think, oh, God, why don't people understand me? Why are they saying this? Why are they saying that? What better person to look at than my own husband to see how somebody can turn all that around? I mean, David is, I call him golden balls, you know, now, because, I mean, you know, because now...
Golden balls, Beckham, eh? It's a good one, that one, isn't it?
That's going to be... I know, that's one of those things I shouldn't have said, but...
I am a very big star with our cousins across the Atlantic. And I didn't seek it. I was in the cemetery, buffing up my husband's obelisk. Because there's very often... You know... He used to like me doing that when he was still
Oh, I mean, the class system in Britain, that's wonderful. That's the extraordinary thing, isn't it? Do you have the same here in Australia?
Oh, we sort of do have, but we hide it a lot better.
You do?
I mean, you don't call governor or sir to the boss. He says, you know, you can call me Frank, you know. But he'll sack you just as quick.
Yeah. You've always said that you're not gay. You've always said that your sexual experiences have been with women. Is all of that true?
Well, that's true, but you know, I've thought about this for a long time.
I bet. Yeah.
I'm not straight.
Sure enough, there's a big moon to earth. There's a bum sticking out of it. He says, is that her? He says, aye. He says, what'd you leave a bum sticking out for? He says, I need somewhere to park my bike.
I have to say, before we start, actually, I wanted to say that this is a great honour for me, because I can remember being, I don't know, 8 or 9 years old, and my mum would allow me to stay up beyond a certain time in the evening only to watch the Parkinson show. She thought it would be a bit of quality watching, so I'm very, very privileged to be here.
Well, that's very, very kind of you. Very kind of you. That's good to have you.
And she probably wouldn't have been quite as thrilled that I had to take my willy out to get on here.
And I believe that Tony Gregg made a business decision to come with me rather than staying with England. Now, you're a Yorkshireman, and all Yorkshiremen are unreasonable about cricket.
But do you find, in fact, that this, what could be best described as your equipment, in fact, hinders you, perhaps, in that pursuit?
I'd like you to explain what you mean by my equipment in
well, people watching...
great detail.
Well, your physical attributes.
You mean my fingers?
No, I meant your...
Now that you're wary of journalists, I mean, does it give you an insight into what they're after?
Now that I'm wary of them...
Yes, you are wary of journalists. You're wary of me. You're wary of the interview. You don't like being interviewed. You can see it in the way that you sit and the way you are. That you don't like doing it. So therefore, well, I mean, it's a perfectly easy question, a decent question to ask you about being a journalist. I mean, in other words, if you were me, what would you do now?
Well, just wrap it up.
Yeah,